morning, guys. It's DJ at Float Fishing Connection. We got a special invite from Adam DeMarco over at Payne Falls, so we're heading out there to do a video shoot for you on reel maintenance. All right, I finally made it to Payne Falls. I'm here with Adam DeMarco. We're going to go through the proper steps on reel maintenance. Keep your reel spinning top notch. And Adam's going to take us through the various disassembly process and also maybe some bearing. We're going to do some bearing repacking.
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll go through that, and I'm going to turn it over to Adam.
In some instances, you have the spool is easy to take off, easy for removal, because perhaps if you fish quite frequently, you take it off all the time. Some spools, however, it may take a little bit of effort to remove it for the first time. We'll first start with a Milner reel here. It has the spool retention knob that has the slot in it, so that way you can use a dime or a penny to remove the spool retention knob. Payne Falls Centerpin, they use a quick release on most designs. The Micas, they have a machine screw that retains it hidden underneath a screw cap. On the Adcock Stanton, they have a thumb nut type application. Okay, we're going to start with the Manx from Milner. We've taken and placed a coating of masking tape on a penny. The reason you'd want to do this is so that way you can protect the materials on the reel. Just like any other thing that you would take apart, it's essential to use the right tools and protect the tools from, or protect the component you're disassembling from the tools. So we're going to take this penny and insert it in the thumb screw slot. We're going to rotate it. We've now broken the thumb screw free, and then you just continue to remove the thumb screw. It's essential to take your time with this thumb screw because it is made out of brass. You could damage it if you were very rough with this disassembly process. You would then take and hold the reel like so and separate the reel by pulling apart. There will be tight spots. Just take your time and finagle the spool. Just pull it back and forth so that way it can get up over the different machine lips that the builder has put in the shaft. Next up is the Adcock Stanton. This reel's design has a thumb nut on it. On this particular reel, you just rotate it counterclockwise and the nut begins to loosen. It's got about 3/8 of an inch of thread engagement, so you have to bring it out. And it's best to tilt the reel so that way if you do lose control of the knob, it doesn't fall down on the reel and potentially scratch it. Comes off like so, and pull the spool from the reel, from the back plate. Okay, this is a Micas reel. This particular reel has been fished. It's quite dirty, so we're gonna clean this reel as well. One of the things I suggest is that as you fish the reel, if you can just take a couple minutes to clean the reel after each outing, so that way it makes it easier to clean overall. You don't end up with different layers, and the dirt and grime doesn't have the time to really soak into the finish and attach. The Micas reel, it takes a little bit more doing. It's got a hubcap type screw application on it. And taking it apart properly means having the proper size Phillips screwdriver to match the screw. And the way you can tell is when you take your screwdriver and put it in, you should see that the screwdriver I'll call them flanges, they totally, they fully seat into the screw, and they they encapsulate almost all of the area that the Phillips screwdriver, female portion of the screw, allows the screwdriver to take in. If you don't have the proper screwdriver, your local hardware store sells these screwdrivers. I just picked this one up for 98 cents. So it's, take the time and set the reel aside and go out and get the right tools. And to counterattack the Loctite, you need to apply heat. Loctite needs about 190 degrees Fahrenheit to break it, and you can achieve this several ways. You can use a lighter, not recommended. You can use a torch. In this application, it's not recommended. A propane plumbing torch, that is, not a cutting torch. And then or a soldering iron. This is the most practical method of breaking Loctite from a screw of this nature. What you would do is you'd plug it in just like as if you were soldering something. You would allow it to heat up, and you would just simply place it on the screw like so for probably about 10 seconds. Then after you do that, you would then take the screwdriver and place it in the screw and loosen it. And if you're using a soldering iron, please practice all safety precautions.
In this particular case, it doesn't appear that those have been Loctited.
No, this particular reel has not been Loctited, no.
And probably a safe way of determining that is if you have the proper tool and you start wrenching on it and it's not budging.
Correct.
Then that's your indicator that there's a little bit more to the removal.
Yes. Yeah, it shouldn't take much torque to remove a screw that has not been Loctited. If you run into a screw that has maybe it has been Loctited, or you're just having a lot of difficulty getting it to budge, it becomes a challenge. You can take your screwdriver, you can put it in the screw like so, and then tap on this with like a hammer very lightly, or perhaps if you have like a little piece of brass. You don't want to take full swings at it, and what that does is that, because once you have a screw fastened, the mechanical system's pulling to one side of the threads, and by tapping down on it, it kind of shocks it and pushes those threads away and helps break up whatever's holding it from unscrewing. Again, if you get in that situation, it's best to maybe even contact the maker and see if they want to look at it, or
send you some extra screws.
Or just make sure you know what you're doing, because you can damage a reel in a heartbeat doing it. On the Micus, they have a rather interesting design. They have a hub that actually stays on the shaft, and the spool comes off.
And the reason why we're covering all these different techniques of securing the spool to the back plate is you may have several reels from one manufacturer, and then through the course of evolution in their reel design, they have several different types of ways of putting this reel on the back plate.
The next reel up is Payne Falls. This is the Dolomites Triton, and this particular reel has a quick release on it. If you look closely at the spool, there is a small stainless steel lever that pokes out, and you'll see that there is enough room for it to rotate. And you grab the spool with your other fingers and just slide that lever out of the way. Pops off that easy, and that's how you take that particular reel apart.
That took all of about 2 seconds.
Yes. The thing is, though, is that you do find those types of release levers on all sorts of different reels, and I offer that as one of the go-to options, because in the Great Lakes, I feel that with the die-hard fishermen being out in the elements, you have a lot of freeze up and sometimes dirt if you like to just throw your reel on the riverbank when you're landing fish. And I try to limit the amount of time that you're working on the reel to get it to work for you.